Alright, hello, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hopefully this game week is going to be a little bit better. Let me just turn this down so I'm not deafening anyone. A little bit better than last time. I'm just going to put this mic under my face because I've been trying to crack off a cold all week, and it doesn't help obviously when you're teaching and your voice is your sort of instrument. But we'll just see how it goes. So just a quick recap then, if you've not seen the video on the channel. Points just like everybody else. You can see I'm just around average there. No Otamendi, no Salah, so that meant actually quite a good thing because Lundstram and Rico come off the bench, so a little bit fortunate for a change. But again, I am yet to get anything at all from any kind of captaincy pick. In terms of choosing the best player in my team, so game week 1 I actually triple captained for Mo Salah, but ever since then I've captain blanked, and even in that game week Sterling went and got, was it 20 points against West Ham, so it's just still not there on the captaincy pick. Hopefully this might be the week to change it, because we're going to be looking at a Sterling captaincy, and I think, like most of you guys, it's tough between Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne at home, I believe he's doubled almost every time. So Spurs at home 11, Brighton at home 13, Watford at home 17, Wolves at home didn't play. So he's double-digit hold every single time he's played at home, which that is pretty difficult to ignore. But then Sterling does so well, his national duty. And I think with Mendy playing, everyone always believes that Mendy is better for Sterling when Mendy plays and Zinchenko is out and Mendy's looking nailed on. It's so close. It might even change to... Let me just turn this line. Might even change to Kevin De Bruyne before we do. So, McGinn and Ashley Barnes, hold or sell. For me, it's a sell. If we look at Aston Villa's fixtures, don't they have like the worst fixture run of all teams? Let's just have a look at Heaton. City away, Liverpool at home, Wolves away, Newcastle at home, United away, Chelsea away. So in the next 6 game weeks, maybe Newcastle at home is the only thing. And the thing with McGinn now, if you've got he's 5.9, it depends what you have him at. So, I mean, if you got him right at the start when he was he right at the start, 5.5, maybe, but you can still get 5.7. And 5.7 gets you to that Hudson-Odoi area, or, you could downgrade him and upgrade somewhere else. So, for me, I always say I don't back promoted sides as it is. But with Aston Villa's fixtures being right at the bottom of the fixture ticker, I would not be going there. And Ashley Barnes has just been out of sorts. But the thing is, he started well, and then Woods started well after him. Wood he's got 4 goals in 4 games. You're not going to change from Barnes to Woods. I think it comes down to, and this is something we all sort of lost track of, when you're looking at your side and you're like at the start of the season, and you're filled with Burnley and Bournemouth players, people like that, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be a fantastic FPL side. Now, I'm not saying that you're just going to get in all the big, City and Liverpool players, but I don't know, just tend to not be attacking wise a good FPL side. So for me, and again, Ashley Barnes at 6.4. In the next 2 game weeks, a lot of people, again, have been bringing up more pay. 6 million. You can see 31 points, which isn't too shabby at all. Oh, mosquito. But Everton at home, Norwich at home. Then it gets a little bit difficult. Then it gets easy again for it. So if you're on a 2-week game punt, maybe someone like Morpay is under 1% ownership. And he's not doing too bad. And Brighton, fair play. They try to play good football. Another suggestion, and a lot of people talking about him as well, is Danny Ings. Now, I heard this on Planet FPL, and the guys on Planet FPL actually heard it from... they saw it on Twitter, but they couldn't remember who tweeted it. But if you go from that Newcastle hat-trick from Pukki after that game week, so I think it's game week 3, to game week 9, Danny Ings has scored more points than Pukki. Hey, Bruce Booster. How's it going, buddy? So I think that's crazy. The fact that everyone's been talking about Pukki, but Danny Ings has got more points since game week 3. You can see, even look, he's got 3 goals in 3 games. But the issue with Southampton, you can see, they've got Leicester tonight. So remember, guys, it is an early deadline. Hey, J-Boy, how you doing? So it is a deadline tonight. Obviously, hopefully Ings will be playing. Well, not hopefully, I don't own him, but it's not that easy. But so in terms of Ashley Barnes and McGinn, I personally would get rid and either downgrade and upgrade, because around the same price, it's not great. So McGinn would go to hopefully maybe Hudson-Odoi if you've got a couple of 0.3 million. And Ashley Barnes could go a little bit up or a little bit down. But if, maybe think about going like McGinn to a 4.5 and Ashley Barnes up. So McGinn would give you about 1.4 million. Barnes is 6.5. So you could go to Jimenez. If you go 4.5 McGinn, and then you could go Ashley Barnes to Raul Jimenez. That might be an idea. Right, your last 2 weeks by far the worst, 39 points and 33. But look at the averages though, Rob. I wouldn't be. So I mean, I've done terribly as well, but average was 36, average 37. So if you're having that game week when everybody else is smashing 60s and 50s or whatever, then yeah, that's awful. But the fact that a lot of us are suffering, I actually want to look at that website with the stats about, is it FPL Analytics? What's the website where you can see how many points you are behind everything? I think it's this one. Let me just get my ID and put it in. And it'll tell you so I'm almost 2 million rank right now, which is absolutely horrific. But you can actually see that between here and the top, say 500k, I think I'm like 20 or 30 points behind, which isn't mad. That's not a lot in game week 9 for me to try and, make up. I can't find it. If someone can put it in the chat, that'd be great. So I'm not too worried about the 2 million rank. I still believe pretty much in the side. I'll show you the ideas that I've been having for my own team to where the direction I want to be going in. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. When I captain Aguero, De Bruyne or Aubameyang, you're a captain Aguero, Rob, I'd go Aguero. I think I heard a stat again somewhere this week that Aguero hasn't missed a home game since like January or something. Like he is like Mr. Etihad. But De Bruyne, he's played 3 games and he's double-digit hold. And the thing is, if Aguero, you're going to rely on goals, but Kevin De Bruyne, it could be a goal or an assist. So I'm in the same situation as you, Rob. Who do I captain, Sterling or De Bruyne? I don't know. I'm umming and ahhing about De Bruyne and Sterling, so I can only imagine how you're feeling. Very similar about Aguero and Sterling. Lundstrom, Rico, is that Soyuncu and Tomori. And again, that is an issue I'm having. You see Cantwell's on my bench, Rico there. Watford massively improved against Tottenham. And I don't believe that it's going to be like whipping boy territory anymore. I think that they're going to be a lot stronger at the back and a lot stronger going forward. And the thing with Rico is that 0-0 against Norwich is probably a freak accident. They still concede a lot of opportunities, a lot of chances. I don't really see a clean sheet for Bournemouth. I did have Cantwell over Lundstrom, but West Ham are not that good at home in terms of expected goals. And Lundstrom, again, strong, very organised defensive outfit in Sheffield United, and he's playing midfield. So, personally, Tomori's going to Burnley. That's not easy. I don't like away games. And unfortunately, you're all away games there. Southampton with Danny Ings. Danny Ings, I mentioned it earlier, he's nearly like 3 goals in 3 games. It's tough. If you've got to start 2 of them, I think you've got to go with Lundstrom. That's what I'm going to be going for. Organised at the back. They'll go to West Ham. They'll frustrate them. They're very good at doing that. Burnley, the young lads going to Burnley. I don't know if they're going to enjoy that. But if you've got 2 of the Chelsea players, like So you can see I've got Mount and Abraham, right? So if I also had Tomori, if I tripled up, I probably wouldn't play Tomori because if you're not feeling confident about Chelsea there, you don't want to triple down on a team that you don't feel comfortable about. If Tomori's like your only Chelsea player, then yeah, that's different. But if you're thinking like, okay, Mount and Abraham, good, and then you play Tomori as well, and they go there and lose 1-0, that's 3 of your 11 that are going to blank. So I would lean towards Sionchu and Lundstrom. That's personally, you can see who I'm playing. I've got Rico on my bench, and I don't have Tomori. So that would be my suggestion. That's what I'm doing. You can see I've got Sionchu and Lundstrom, so we'll see. 2 average game weeks, still have your wild card. Alistair, massively jealous. Mane against Spurs captain. I think that's a differential captaincy choice. So your 81k rank, 514 points. So I'm 64 points behind 81k. So thanks for that booster. So that's top 100k, and you know what's upsetting? That's my captaincy choices. If I'd have got just a few more captaincy choices correct, I'd be up there in the 500s at least. I think I've put this picture on before about how unlucky I am, and I know that sounds like it's really crazy. Let me just whack it up. You can go on, I think it's fplreview.com. I put this on the video as well this week because I want to say that I don't disagree still with some of the decisions that I've been making. You can see I've just put it up in the top corner here. I'll just make it bigger for us to look at right now. So minus 80% lucky. Like the decision I've made, so in terms of the bookies, in terms of bookmakers, I should be in the top 100k. You can see XG and X points top million, and fair points basically is rank should be about 320. So minus 80% luck, if you can believe that. And I shouldn't open that with my teeth. I just wanted to get underneath it. There we go. I wanted an energy drink. So that's how unlucky I've been. And feel free to check that out. No sponsorships, no adverts or anything like that. It's just a little thing where you can put your ID in and it'll tell you like a summary of your season so far. And you can see how unlucky that I've been. Oh well, it happens. I'll pop on the idea that I've had about where I want to go with my team. But Mane is 100% in my eyes right now. Oh, Pulakesh, you can see I'm struggling as well. I mentioned earlier, any City assets. Now, another bit of advice is if you're not 100% sure if someone's going to play or someone's going to line up, then play it safe. Now, we're hoping that Sterling bangs because he's just banged in Europe. And his ceiling, his point ceiling, how many points he can possibly score is slightly higher than Kevin De Bruyne's. So Kevin De Bruyne, it's like between 5 points and 15. But Sterling is 2 and 20, just as an example. But the issue is Sterling's been hitting far too many 2s and 3s instead of hitting those high notes. Whereas Kevin De Bruyne is the top midfielder. In fact, no, he's the top scorer of any player right now in FPL. And he looked still so dangerous against Crystal Palace. If he hit the bar, Jesus, if he wasn't so greedy, would have scored as well. He'd have punished us, the people that didn't have Kevin De Bruyne. So if you're still a little bit worried about... The reason why the captaincy is on Sterling for me right now is because it's being stubborn. I've had him since game week 1, and I've captained him so many times. I would be so angry if the 1 week I go, right, let's just go Kevin De Bruyne, let's just be safe, and then he bangs. Now, if I go Kevin De Bruyne, if I go Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne bangs, I'm still happy. Kevin De Bruyne's a really good player. I'll get lots of points. And that'll be good buy for Sterling for me because I'm looking at Sterling to Mane. So this is like last chance saloon. If he does well, he'll get another. Like every week now for Sterling, it's are you going to stay in my team basically? And he's got about 2 weeks left. But if I've captained him like I think it's 6 times out of the 9, and he bangs when I go for De Bruyne, and De Bruyne does well. He gets 1 or 2 assists, but Sterling gets 2 goals. I won't be happy. So that's my opinion. Do you reckon TA will start? So Luke, we have a bit of an FPL chat on Twitter, like a message chat going on, and someone posted the live conference. Let me just say who put that in the FPL chat. It was. I'll have to scroll back and find it. But basically, we believe that TAA and Robertson is fine. Apparently, that's what he said. TAA and Robertson apparently should be fine. Should play Cantwell or Lundstrom. You currently have Lundstrom. Rob, I made the change myself. I put Lundstrom in for Cantwell. And again, if Cantwell does something against Manchester United, then fair play to Norwich. But I just don't have that belief in Cantwell at the minute. Playing Cantwell to try and get a return. Yeah, I've been lucky. Apart from that, like 14-pointer. I think I even got that when I can't remember. But yeah, it's the idea that finally get blank. Then he is in the bin. Oh, you're playing Cantwell. Sorry, I read that wrong, Marcus. Then he's in the bin. Yeah, Cantwell's already on my chopping block. 457. Your rank is 1 point. What was my points again? So I'm 7 points behind and almost a million. So thank you, FPL FICO. So that just goes to 7 points is 800k. Is Otamendi going to play? And again, Bosno, apparently Rodri is out. So even though that Pep was going forward towards Rodri and Fernandinho as that kind of partnership, I believe that Rodri is out of the game. And again, I'm not worried. Otamendi doesn't play. Cantwell or Rico comes on, and I think they might have a good game week as well. So just 1 point is 400k difference. And again, it's so tight. Remember, this is game week 10. I know there's still a lot, like a quarter of the way through the season, but to have just sort of 1 point being about 400k difference is crazy. It really is. All right, I'll just shoot through some of the ideas that I've been having. Maybe you guys will get a suggestion about what you would like to do in the future. So a couple of the options. So I already mentioned about Sterling going to Mane. And you can see I've got 0.9 million in the bank. And I had thought about then, where I was going. Callum Wilson will go to Jimenez, who I think is going to be a good shout. Where else was I going? Otamendi was going to go down to I think it was going to be a Brighton. Oh, no, I think it was going to be Newcastle. I think I was going to have a punt on Willems. I don't even have to go that far down. And then I wanted to bring David Silva in. This is the goal of my team that I'm aiming towards right now. You can see 16 points, so I'm going to need maybe 3 to 5 game weeks to get to this. So next week, possibly we'll see Wilson go to Jimenez, and then the week after that could possibly see Willems come in for Otamendi, because I believe that is the Liverpool Man City game. So I don't want Otamendi for that. And then I'll probably take a -4 to finish off bringing in David Silva. Or I can still stretch it out over a 4-week plan. They're the 4 transfers that I'm thinking of right now. So you can see I think that's a better side. I like the idea of 2 Liverpool, 2 Man City. I love the idea of Salah and Mane. Another idea that I had been having was just going straight from Sterling to David Silva, and then that allowed me to go from Otamendi to Robertson, and then I can upgrade Cantwell to an 8.6, so a pretty good midfielder. Even somebody, because of his value, somebody like Callum, Hudson, Odoi, and that lets me go Wilson all the way up to someone like Vardy. I could even upgrade another defender. You can see it's 7.2 back there. Greenwood can go out in a 7 million player, so I could almost pick up Jimenez for that, but that'd give me too much of a strong bench because one of my midfielders will have to miss out, and you can see what's the point in having this midfield if you're not going to use it. Of course, the issue here is no Mane, no Sterling, but it's a much better balanced side. So that was a second idea that I was having. So let me know what you think about those two ideas. So this one's actually easier to get to because it's Man City for Man City. And like I said, I can use if I'm still going to play two up front, since she's got a good game run. But if I take that, that's 6.7, I can put in Pereira. I could pretty much any other top defender to have three really strong defenders. But the issue with that at the minute is the likes of Rico and Lundstrom are doing so well for so cheap that I don't want to sit there every game. We can have Lundstrom 6 points. Lundstrom's a possible starter. You know, if you've got Robbo, if you've got two premiums or one premium, one semi-premium and Lundstrom, that's pretty golden for a while until if Lundstrom loses his place. No way should that team 1.9 million. That's why the look is minus 80%. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. And I'm not taking ridiculous hits. I'm not taking like -8 hits every week because I'm doing so many transfers. So I have no idea why it's just not working out. And people might think some parts are template or whatever, but you know, I was on the Otamendi bandwagon before his 15-point haul. I got him in when people were still thinking about him. When he was 5.4 million? Yeah, when he was 5.4, I had him in. I don't know, it's just not been happening. Mainly down to Salah. Basically not doing anything since game week 5. And he's only got 2 double-digit hauls. And in that first game week, even though he got 12 points on a triple captain, which is not bad for a triple captaincy, everyone had a great game week 1. So the one time that he bangs is the one time you weren't even that bothered about him banging. What about Vardy captain tonight? I saw a fact that Jamie Vardy hasn't scored against Southampton. I want to fact check it, but I don't believe he scored against Southampton. Captain Pukki, no. I know because it's against United, it's a big team, it's at home. I'm not even thinking Cantwell or Buendia will not do, or Pukki will not do anything against Manchester United. I think they might, but it's too much of a risk. You're glad you've been Pukki and Sterling for Aguero and a Mount last week. Yeah, I think that's a good move. Yeah, Sterling, but his potential is just so high. Sterling's potential for greatness is so high. It just seems mad. But again, Mendy coming in. I was watching the Fantasy Football Scout video, and they were explaining, like, just looking at the heat maps and how Mendy does allow Sterling to push inside. So that's something. Only in assist against Palace, but Palace very stubborn in defence. I don't know. I just feel that last chance saloon for Sterling, the last hurrah. You know, if he doesn't get something, I'm vindicated. Right, you're out of the team. I don't trust you with my captain's armband. Off you pop. Fair play. But if I don't captain him now, when he needs me, I think I'll regret it more than if I go for Kevin De Bruyne. So, we'll see. Best case scenario, they both get 2 goals each and it's 4-0 Man City. That's the dream. You're glad since game of fact you've captained Alba, you're doing it again. I think that's a fair point. Arsenal have a good run of fixtures. Palace at home. Palace are stubborn though. Sheffield United proved that Arsenal aren't the best at breaking teams down. There's a little bit of issues there with Emery. Even the fans are starting to turn on him. I don't know. I avoid sort of Spurs and Arsenal assets in a minute. Martial could be a good punt. Yeah, Marcus, I mentioned this on Twitter, a couple of players. So Dominic Solanke is someone I have mentioned in the last game week or two. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it one bit because I believe for his price, he's a good third striker. But you can see, if I just pull up this tweet that I did. Current players on my radar right now. So Martial is top of that at the moment. So Marcus, you're already onto something. That was 13 hours ago. United's number 9, 7.5 million as a striker, but I'm going to wait a couple of weeks for that one. And again, if I don't go David Silva, I could go Martial. I want to wait. He is coming back from quite a long injury. David Silva is someone I really admire. Most double-digit hauls so far this season. 7.6 million from Manchester City, attacking midfielder, who seems to be resting for the Champions League and in for the Premier League. And if he doesn't play, 7.6 million, you're not expecting that sort of price range to bang every week. And Raul Jimenez, someone I've got my eyes on because I like the look of the fixtures for Wolves. So speaking of good fixture runs, at a difficult start of the season, European hangover. But you can have a look now that Newcastle away this week, that's a good fixture. Arsenal away, doable. Wolves are like Leicester. They just ignore top 6 sides and what they think and, go right at them. Villa at home, Bournemouth away, Sheffield United, West Ham, Brighton, Spurs, Norwich. So all the way until game week 19 when they've got that City-Liverpool double up. And then even after that, Watford, Newcastle, Southampton. It's a decent run. And I think that's exactly the reason why he's on my radar. You've got Pickford and Schmeichel. 2 big goalkeepers there who are not near the top of the list, are they? Pickford's down here and Schmeichel's below that. I think Schmeichel set and forget for quite a few game weeks is fine. I wouldn't have chosen them to, but it's your game. And also, I hate the idea of having 2 good goalkeepers like that because you know what will happen. You'll play one big goalkeeper and the other one will keep it. That's why I just like having one goalkeeper that plays and it's a tough team. Tough. It doesn't matter. A free hit's best around December when they're 2 games a week. So I use my wildcard. A lot of people say wildcard double game week. I disagree. I feel that if the single game week is there for a triple captain hit, then that's a great time to use it. Free hit for me is those double game weeks. So, and blank game weeks. For example, if Liverpool blank in, I think it's game week 18, I think that's just one. I don't think that's a double game week, but you know those situations where there's a double game week and a blank game week, then yeah, if I've got 5 players blanking and I can swap those 5 players for 5 players with a double game week, then I think that's the better time to play it. Also, bench boost, I think, for double game weeks. And by the time we get to double game weeks, we'll have wildcarded. Our squads will be more well-rounded. So if I could just do a quick transfer right now for no punishment, I'd swap Greenwood for Connolly at Brighton because he's broken into that starting 11. So that means I would actually have 14 of my 15 players constantly playing. So Button is my only non-playing squad member right now. So if I bench boost in a double game week with players that are, pretty nailed on in their sides at the moment, maybe Rico not so much. That's why I think they're better for double game weeks. Pukki to Morpay, good. Yeah, I mentioned that exact same thing at the start of the stream, Dylan. For 2 game weeks, that's decent. Morpay has the most chances of any striker, but his conversion rate is really poor. It was something like he got 20 goals in a championship, but it took 150 shots to get it, so it's not great. Bringing in Winston Reid 3.9 for bench fodder, for funds. I don't think he's going to come back in the side. I understand that it's just putting 3.9 million and you will have 14 players. It depends how much you really need that 0.2 million. So Rico's is Rico still 4.1 or has he gone up again? Okay, Rico's 4.2. But to save 0.3 but have a person that just doesn't play, I personally don't like it. I like trying to get apart from goalkeeper, because they have the fewest amount of rotations, I just like having bench players that at least get some kind of minutes. Who's still red flagged? Oh, yeah, about Winston. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to break back into that side. Kiffian, yeah, mentioned TAA and Robertson apparently are both perfectly fine. I did mention that earlier as well. Brought in Trossard this week. Is Trossard back, though? I think Gross has been doing really well. You can see he's top of the Brighton midfielders right now. And you can see he's played 90 minutes pretty much since game week 5. I possibly would have waited. It's only the next 2 game weeks, and he's not played since game week 4. I personally wouldn't have brought Trossard in at this moment. You can see next 2 game weeks fine, but then the next 3 after that, I would be avoiding Brighton personally myself. You think Abraham will be rested? Oh, for Batshuayi this game week. Interesting. I think there will be an absolute uproar. I brought Abraham in as a shield. I actually don't, and I know it's going to sound crazy, and I have mentioned this on stream before, I don't rate him as a striker. He's not clinical enough. Look at all the chances he had against Brighton, and he blanked. Look at the chances he had against Newcastle, and he blanked. I know he hit the bar. I know Yedlin did it incredibly well to block that chance, but a clinical one would have just put it away straight in the back of the net. I don't actually want to lose Callum Wilson. It just works out that 0.2 million gets me to the transfer targets that I'm interested in. But Abraham as a shield, is he 45% owned now? 45.2% owned. He's like next Pukki, right? It's one of them where almost half of the entire game, almost 3.5 million people own Abraham. If he does anything and you don't have him, unless your other strikers or players can make up that difference, you're in big trouble. And again, you don't want to be template. You want to have your own differentials. You want to have your own style. But there are some players that you kind of got to bring in as a security. And Abraham is that player right now. So if he doesn't play, that's fine. That's half of the game that are going to suffer as well. Pope, great, TA, Soyuncu, Lundstrom, Otamendi, Sterling, Salah, KDB, Matt, Abraham, Morpay. It's not like the exact same as mine. Minus Morpay. So I'm hoping that's fine. You've got 1 free transfer left. What should you do? I don't know. I think that's fine for this week and just roll the transfer. Ryan's gone up in price again, hasn't he? Peters, Lundstrom, Otamendi, Mane, Mount, Son, Sterling, Vardy, Firmino, King. What do you do? I'd be looking at Heung-min Son in that situation. Do you have any... Okay, you got Sterling, but you don't have Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know. I don't think you can get up to Kevin De Bruyne. But personally, I'm a huge fan. If I have a look at some of the things that have been... This was from the video I had... Let me scroll down. The players that I want to look at for this game week. You can see this is from the video from the YouTube channel as well, where I mentioned all the points about why I've chosen these players. So David Silva is my player to pick. And of course, I'm not going to sit here and say Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, Sterling. I try to pick not too obvious players when I do this, because every week I'll just be sat here going, okay, Kevin De Bruyne. So for me personally, I think Son to David Silva is pretty good. But again, that's just my opinion. That's because I want David Silva. Does anyone follow FPL Rockstar on Twitter? He's always accurate with lineups 10 minutes before the deadline. I have heard about that, but I think, didn't he tweet saying he's taking a month off or something? He's taking some time off. Also, on a Friday deadline, it's pointless because we can't get the team news tomorrow, if that makes sense. Salah, a good captain choice at home against the struggling Spurs as a differential, but top quality player. Yep. I think Salah, to be honest, Salah, Mane, KDB, Sterling, Aguero, they're always a good choice. Even if they play each other, they're fantastic players. Is it smart to use a free hit during a double game weeks or during blank game weeks? Blank. Because your players will double. Hopefully you'll have some players that are doubling up. Blank, you will literally get 0. So that's what I played, I think it was in last season, where a lot of people had already used, they hadn't used a wild card, they hadn't used a triple captain, but they had used their free hit. And what happened is blank game week came, and people couldn't get 11 people on the pitch. They had 6 of their entire squad not having a game, whereas I was happily playing 11 players. So I say blank. Yeah, Ben Dinnery is the fitness king on Twitter. Adama or Trossard, who should just start? Adama, with Wolves, It depends if you play a 5 at the back and Adama's further back, or if you play a 3-4-3 and Adama's further forward. Now, let's not take that amazing Man City result that they had. Let's not sort of go too far ahead, because weren't they the first... It was like the first goal he scored in 2 years, so I'm not going to be going for Adama. And again, Trossard, he's not played for about 4 or 5 game weeks. Gross, Grosh, the Brighton midfielder, the FPL legend, is doing really well for Brighton. I personally won't go for either of them. You're going to hold Hallier over Abraham until game week 22? Yep. Don't West Ham have two or three game weeks in a row where they're at home? Ings in for Greenwood. If you're talking to me, I cannot do that. Good to plan ahead. Imagine you in the meantime. Yep. You're zipping up. I just wouldn't go for Adama and Trossard. You know, that's just my opinion. I think Wolves have got great fixtures, and isn't he like 5 million as well? But I mean, he's like a wing back now. You can see he is top 34 points, but you know, he doesn't get anything for clean sheets because he's a midfielder in the game, right? So let's take out that fantastic, amazing, wonderful 16-pointer, and that's almost half his points gone. So, I mean, if you think he's going to bang in another 2 goals, and yeah, go for Traore, but I'm personally not feeling that. Wood picked up a hamstring injury, so I went Morpay. Yeah, I think that's fine. Morpay for the next 2 game weeks is a good shout. I haven't seen the press conferences yet. You know, this is from the video I made on Tuesday, so it could be out of date even after Champions League football. Son to Maddison, King to Abraham. Tyler, I think that's a really good shout. Is that perfect money? I just think David Silva, I think he's going to be amazing. Like, I just want to bring him in, but I've got to wait a few game weeks before I can do that. Hey, FPL Penguin, how you doing, bud? Welcome to the chat. Abraham in, Pukki out. Simple, straightforward. Abraham again. Yeah, I mentioned it before. He is a shield, but I'm just looking at Raul Jimenez and just thinking, yeah, I think I'd like to have him. Wolves have about 8 good game weeks coming up after such a difficult start. And they're kicking into gear now, and I think it's a pretty good one to have. I mean, I'm not happy about leaving Callum Wilson. You can see United, Newcastle, Wolves, Tottenham, Palace, Liverpool, Chelsea. I don't think that's easy, and I just don't trust. I had Callum Wilson right at the start of the season when he was getting 5-5-5-5, but I need to get rid of him to bring in Kevin De Bruyne in game week 3. And it's great. He's not been injured as well. You can see he's got a lot of minutes under his belt. But if that allows me to get Mane, David Silva in, I just sort of can't ignore that. I think that's the move. I just feel like doubling. I know it sounds mad. We've gone through all this before, but going to Liverpool at the back after this Man City game is very viable. Palace, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Watford. It's a toughie. It is a toughie. So Sterling I still want to do this. And I'm also just believing that the Salah Mane combination is the dream. Can you go to David Silva and then he's below Cho. I'll get rid of Otamendi, I think, in the future. But yeah, I know I've got an idea for the next four weeks or so. That's going to be my suggestion. David Silva and Vardy in for Sterling and Pukki. Dion, before this game week, no. Let's stat check this. Has Vardy ever scored against Southampton? Because I saw somewhere that he's never scored against Southampton. Now, I don't believe that, because he went on that record-breaking run. So I want to know his record against Southampton. But again, the problem with stats like that is they're junk stats. They don't mean anything. Just because he's never scored against Southampton doesn't mean he won't. So it's pointless if that's true or not. I mean, if you've got Kevin De Bruyne, then yeah, David Silva, De Bruyne, that's fine. But if you've only got Sterling as a Man City attacker, I think it'd be tough to get rid of Sterling before this game week. But again, we won't be saying that if Sterling gets benched this weekend, because it is a possibility. We all know it's a possibility. We're just not admitting the truth right now. And I think everyone's getting... But Pukki at home to Manchester United, you know what they've done to Manchester City. It's a tough one. Face value, if you had to do 2 and 2, David Silva and Jamie Vardy is better than Raheem Sterling and Pukki, in my opinion. So if that's a move that you're going to make, I don't think it's a terrible one. Joe Linton, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Are we just naming the least deadliest strikers in the Premier League right now? I think I've had Dominic Calvert-Lewin in my team once last year, and I'll never do it again. That's a lie. I mean, if he starts banging, of course I'll go. Matty Longstaff, I know he scored a really good goal. He has some shots. Newcastle fixtures looking good, but without being impolite, they're not a good team. Like, I'm not saying they're bad, but you know what I mean. Like, when was the last time? Here's some thing for us to think about. When was the last time Newcastle had a player that was a great FPL asset? Andy Carroll? Original Andy Carroll? Like, when was the last time, maybe John Joe Shelby a few years ago? When was the last time Newcastle had a player that was a really good FPL? Well, that Solano. Nobby Solano back in the day. Origi, why? You're paying a lot of money for someone not to play. You brought in Trent for Wan-Bissaka this game week, said check out. Captain pick was hard. Went with Abraham in the end. Abraham going to Burnley. That's a tough call, especially when we've got Man City at home to Aston Villa, who've conceded like the most shots inside the box, and that's where Man City like to play. I mean, I'm even debating going Otamendi to Mendy. Zinchenko looks like he could be out for a while. It looks like he's had surgery in Barcelona, because the photo that he's had is that doctor's in is it Barcelona, and he's a guy that sorts Man City in serious injuries. I don't think it's a serious injury, but I mean, if he's in a hospital bed, it looks like an operation. So Sterling at risk of being rested? Always. Let us not sit here and pretend we know what Pep Guardiola is going to do. I mean, for God's sake, he's just played Rodri and Fernandinho as 2 centre-backs. So Sterling could be rested. Even he came out after the game, he said Sterling is a machine. Sterling can play the next day. Give him a day's rest and he's better than ever. Sterling came out himself and said, oh, I love it. I'm on track. I'm buzzing for the weekend. And you just know you're going to see Sterling's name on the bench, because that's what Pep does. You got Williams and Shaw. Shaw's out injured, isn't he? I've already said I'll bring Williams in for Otamendi to free up the funds for someone like David Silva, so why not? I'm thinking of Captain Sterling. I mentioned it earlier, Tyler, so I'll quickly just repeat that. He's been my captain so many times. If he bangs and I don't give it him this time, I'll be really angry. Catrone at Wolves. It depends how long Diego Jota's out for. You've gone with De Bruyne. Again, De Bruyne is the safer option. He will, let's not pretend we can guess what's going to happen with football this season. It's been crazy. But Kevin De Bruyne is your safe bet. He'll possibly bring in 8 to 12 points. Nice, good haul for your captain. Raheem Sterling, man, could go and get a hat-trick and get a 40-pointer with captaincy, obviously. It's just madness. Katie Breeson's game we won. Actually, if I look back at the videos that I made pre-season, I think Kevin De Bruyne was my number 1 most suggested midfielder, or number 2. Jamie Vardy and Callum Wilson were in my strikers video, so we're talking about pre-season videos that I'd made. Top 5 midfielders to start the season with. I'll make sure I mute it. So 37. So I had, let's just ignore that I had Zaha and Richarlison in this list. Kevin De Bruyne was in at Number 3. Kevin De Bruyne and Bilva were my third I know it's 2 players, but they were my third recommended midfielders, and I never went with him because I was worried about his injuries. And Salah and Sterling were my top 2. Actually, Salah and Mane were my top 1, and Sterling was my second one. And yeah, Jamie Vardy was my top suggestion as striker, and Callum Wilson was number 2. So I don't know. I just think I've been quite unlucky. Who's Sterling getting benched for though? Mahrez played midweek. Why not Bernardo Silva? Or why not Mahrez? Maybe Mahrez plays this game and gets rested for the other cup game. We just can't guess what Pep's going to do. We sat here before the last game after the international break and said he will play. It is fine. So we just cannot guess what he's going to do. Of course, we'd love him to play. He's my captain. If he doesn't play, please don't come on. It's just one of those situations, right? Like, please don't come on for 1 minute and kick the ball around and ruin everyone's week. It's the early kickoff as well. So you just know you're going to be in an absolute stinker of a mood, FPL-wise and football-wise, if Sterling doesn't play and Villa are winning 1-0 and they throw on Sterling to try and get an equaliser. And they get an equaliser, but it's nothing to do with Sterling. And for the rest of the game week, you're just looking at every player in your team. Even if the rest of your team does really well, you're just like, yeah, well, whatever, I don't care. Because Sterling's ruined it for you. Origi's 5.3. Yeah, but what's the point in having 5.3 million sat on your bench or coming off the bench for 20 minutes a game? Yeah, that's exactly what I think, Tyler. Like, you're never really going to drop Firmino, Salah and Mane. I'm forgetting Jose Perez last season. I'm not forgetting him. I just don't think it... What was it? 184 points or 181 points he got? Pretty confident I remember that. I mean, and again, he wasn't... He just had a really good end of the season. Let's have a look. Was it 141? Now, 141 isn't that amazing. And it was 6.5 million. So 141 for 6.5 million is good, but it's not like knock your socks off good. I wasn't like scrambling to bring Perez in last season. Switch from Salah to Mane before the United game. Hey Chris, no worries mate. Is there any other... If you've missed something or you want some questions, just throw it in there and I'll give you like a quick TLDR. Cho or Robbo next week. Currently have Trent and Abraham, but you want to double up on both. Can you not take a -4? Next week, Liverpool have got Villa at home, right? Villa away. And then Man City. Now, do you really want Robertson in for the Man City game? Yeah, he could do something. But if you bring in Hudson-Odoi now, you will play Hudson-Odoi from now until at least, say, game week 13. Are you going to play him in that Man City game? Maybe, but the idea is if you bring in Robertson, you're not going to really want to play him the game after next. So maybe bring in Cho and then wait and then bring in Robertson. Or if you're feeling that confident, Robbo at home to Manchester City, then go for it. Hey, man. How you doing, bud? You're back in Sterling as well this week. That's exactly what I mentioned earlier, Chris. Point ceiling should be higher than KDB, but that's it. And you captained him as well, right? And that was it. Like, if Abraham's captaincy would have pinged off last week, us Wilson boys would have been in a lot of trouble. But fortunately, well, not fortunately, because we still lost FPL points. But yeah, I think I've just got to go with Sterling. And it's this time now. So for you guys, if you're over in England or in Europe or whatever, you can watch the game tonight. For me, it starts like 2 a.m, so I'm not going to watch it. It's 9 p.m. for me, so a couple of hours till I go to bed, or almost 9 p.m. A couple of hours till I go to bed, so I've got a shorter deadline. And this is the danger moment. I always try and make a rule for myself to not do any transfers or captaincy changes now. If I've had all week to think about it, when you're on the toilet or when you're waiting for a bus or you've got a quick break time at work or whatever, and you're just having a flick on fantasy football or Twitter, FPL or whatever, and you've thought about it and you've made peace with yourself, that should be the final decision. Like, not going on Twitter now, seeing, unless there's a press conference that says, right, Sterling is 50-50, then yeah, make the change. But for me, it's like, you make worse decisions right now just before the deadline than you have for the entire week of actually thinking, looking at stats, looking at heat maps or whatever you guys do. So I try not to change it now. I'm looking at Sterling. That's the bed I've made, and I'm lying in it. I might not sleep very comfortably, but that's the bed that I've chosen to lie in. Since you're Lundstrom, who to play, if it's one or the other, I did hear somewhere that West Ham at home have the second or third worst expected goals, but they're dangerous. Southampton can be dangerous. Danny Ings, Leicester are looking strong. They're third in the table. Lundstrom's a midfielder. I'm playing both. So maybe play both and rest someone else. Could be dangerous how clean sheets is for both. Yeah, so that's the Robbo Cho situation. But you've not already tripled up on Liverpool. You've got Trent, Dion, so that means you don't have Mane or Salah or Firmino or Wijnaldum. I mean, for me, I feel like, I know I've only got 2 Liverpool at the moment, but I feel kind of like 3 City, 3 Liverpool, or at least sort of 5 of those players is needed. Oh, let me refresh this now, because maybe he doesn't have a yellow flag. I got told off last week because I was saying, oh, no, look, KDB wasn't it? Oh, look, KDB's got a yellow flag. And then people were like, no, he doesn't. Refresh your page. And I refreshed it. I was like, oh, okay. You win this time, chat. Sterling's on last chance for captain. Yeah, I've already said that. I'm already looking, to be honest, before that Liverpool game week, I'm probably switching Sterling to Mane. And probably by that point, Sterling and Mane will be the same price. Because it's in 2 game weeks. It just feels mad getting rid of, as much as I'd like Mane even next week against Aston Villa, it seems mad to take out Sterling when he's got 2 home games against Villa and Southampton. And that's why it was an idea for me to go, I don't even have to get Mane now. I could just go Sterling to David Silva and then wait and then take a -4. I'd have to take a -8. I'd have to wait 2 game weeks, which is fine because then he comes in game week 13. But I just feel like I want Mane now, and then all I'm doing in this situation is sacrificing Sterling early and not being able to bring in Mane for so I wouldn't have Mane or Sterling for 2 or 3 game weeks, and that's a danger for me. So 1 game week. So next week, Sterling to David Silva. The week after that, Otamendi out for someone like, what was I thinking? Willems. And then the week after that, Cantwell out for Mane. 11 million, I can't afford it. So I'll have to think how I did that last time. I'll get it done. That was just my idea anyway. You can't play both. You've got TA and Tomori as, you trust them more. I don't know. Tomori going to Burnley. Chris Wood, form of his life. Ashley Barnes might get back on that Barnes train. Don't sit on the fence. So you got TA, Tomori, and you want to choose one more between Sancho and Lundstrom. Then go Lundstrom. Lundstrom's the top scoring defender right now. He plays midfield. Solid. They're going to go to West Ham and they're going to show up sharp. There's a higher point ceiling. Sancho could get a clean sheet, but the chances of him scoring or assisting is quite low. Lundstrom has already done some lovely assists this season, so I'd say Lundstrom. Tomori, Pukki and Son for Pereira, Cho and Vardy for a -4. I don't think that's bad at all. Double down on Leicester, not a bad shout. They've got good fixtures. Cho, talk of the town right now there, Big Dave. You're not missing out on Son and Pukki, and I don't think you're missing out on Tomori, so I think they're 3 pretty decent transfers. Aguero better play. I did mention this earlier. I think Aguero hasn't missed a game at home since January. Like, he always plays at home, so it seems like when they're away and they need to run more and press more, Jesus plays. He's younger. He's, I don't want to say fitter, but I don't know. He can run for longer, better stamina. But when they're at home at the Etihad and they're going to dominate, it's Aguero. You have Sionchu at the moment. You agree with the points, rethink. No, Chris, I mentioned earlier, you've thought about this all week. Try not to make a decision now, because you'll regret it. If you've thought about it all week and then you swap and it goes wrong, you'll regret it. If you've stuck at it all week and it goes wrong, you'll feel a little bit better about yourself. Like, in a way, this is why I don't like going 4 at the back. I had Cantwell in my side. I was playing 3-5-2 because I don't like the idea of that. I mean, I've got Rico on my bench, second on my bench. He's just scored 8 points last week and a 0-0 against Norwich. I feel like Watford's going to score, though, and I don't want to rely on Rico in terms of an attacking sense, despite him being one of the biggest crossers stat-wise so far in the last few weeks. But, I mean, it's crossing to Wilson, so that'd be perfect. It's a double-up, right? Wilson scores, Rico assists. But I feel that Sionchu could get a high chance of clean sheet from Sionchu, decent chance of a shutout from Lundstrom going to West Ham. And I just feel like putting Cantwell, because if I put Rico in front of Cantwell and Sterling doesn't play, I've got 5 at the back. And I mean, the last 2 weeks, the Dream Team's been 5 at the back. I know last week the Dream Team was 5 at the back. Was it last week? Oh no, that's the overall one. Yeah, look at that. Look at that Dream Team. That's last week's Dream Team. 5 at the back. People said it was dead. So Game Week 8, because Game Week 8 was terrible as well. There's 3 at the back for that one. Traore, Champion of the Week. So that's why Campbell's in there, and because you don't know, Norwich might overturn Manchester United at home. We know what Norwich can do when they're at home against any side. So I feel like, Sterling doesn't play, Campbell comes off. I'd be surprised if I don't have 11 players playing this game week, and I don't need my subs. So Cantwell, if you do something, fine. You're a 4.9 million person. I'm not bothered. If you downgrade Sterling to Dilver and Mount to Cho. Yes, I think that's what I did earlier, Chris. You're getting bad luck. You're getting bad luck. I'm minus 80% bad luck. I've got so much of it, I've almost doubled how much bad luck I've got. Rico's on bench, let's say he's staying there. You'd rather play Lundstrom every week. They both came off the bench for me and absolutely saved my bottom. I think I actually did what you've just said earlier. Mount to Cho. Otamendi to... I don't know why I like Williams. When I see him, he looks a little bit exciting at full back for Newcastle. Let's have a look at this. Dilla, Mane. Nope. Oh, but then my idea anyway was Wilson going all... Yeah, that's what I did. I forgot to do Jimenez in for Wilson. That was my issue. And then I can keep Mason Mount. That's what I did. So, Silva in for Sterling, Mane in for Cantwell, Williams in for Otamendi, Jimenez in. That was the idea I was going for. I remember now. Does Emerson have a chance at the start? I think it's too early. Plus, Alonso just scored last week, so yours is minus 80% also. Yeah, like I said, I'm not sponsored. I'm not advertising anything. If people would like to leave a like or subscribe to the channel, That would be nice. That's as far as my advertisement goes. I don't like it. I mean, some of the things that I see now, everything's behind a paywall. Everything's got. I mean, I see some videos and it's just like, say it's a 1 hour video and it's got like 10 adverts and Patreons and memberships and all sorts inside. I'm just thinking, like, how much content is going on in these days, especially on things like Twitter and websites. I don't know. I understand for some people it's a job, but I mean, it's just a hobby. Oh yeah, I know Wilson. Wilson is FPL troll. Like, you take him out and he'll absolutely bang. But that's fine because I'm still happy with this team. I think this is a strong team. This is a good 3-5-2 team. My only issue is that if something happens to Jimenez, there's not really anyone in that 7.1 range that I could go to. Or if Abraham starts to mess up, I'm going to be looking like a 4-5-1 and having to sacrifice up front, and I don't know. This doesn't give me room to manoeuvre. I'd have to lose Salah or Mane. Or Mount. Mount could go back down to a 4.5 and I can play 4-4-2, so it's not too bad. But that's going to take me a few game weeks. I want to figure that out later. Oh, you might leave Wilson all season. I mean, as long as he stays fit, he is a quality striker. He isn't a bad striker. Does anyone know if did Alonso play 90 minutes in the Champions League this week? I think Emerson's still just a little bit off. I mean, he tried to come back in this Liverpool game and got injured again, didn't he? So, Mount, Cho and Abraham. Triple up is fine. They offer amazing value for money. And even if they blank, sometimes their money is... You don't want... Oh, I said, okay. You want them to, but you cannot expect Mount, Hudson-Odoi and Abraham to bang every week because their price point doesn't, explain that. The reason why we're all getting annoyed at Salah and Sterling is because they're the most expensive players. They should be getting at least 5-6 points a week. Whereas, Mount, for 6.6 million, you only need 1 in 3 games and he's worth his money. So if you've got 3 of them and you get 1 of them out of the 3 does something for you every week, that's not a bad return, and that's minimum. No Liverpoolers. Wow. 486 points isn't too bad. You've got big balls there, Dave, because I don't think I'd be going without any Liverpool attackers. This might sound mad, but I'd prefer not to go any Man City attackers right now. You're a Wolves fan. Our players don't just get injured, so Jimenez will be fine. I was thinking more of form. Tadone, thinking of going to differential captain, choosing David Silva, though you've got see, there's the issue. You've got Vardy going to Southampton, not easy. Sterling, Aubameyang's at home to Palace. Palace could shut shop. Sterling, David Silva. Sterling's ceiling is so much higher than David Silva could double-digit haul. He's got the most so far this season, but Sterling's ceiling's so much higher. Will Daniel James earn points this game week? Unfortunately, Connell, I can't tell you if anyone will earn game points this week because who knows with this crazy FPL season. But is he a good option going to a terrible Norwich defence despite their 0-0 draw that they got last week against Bournemouth? Yeah, I think he's a decent shout. 6.1 million. I think he's still 6.1 million. Your triple city is Abraham, Mount and Tomori. Oh, you mean triple Chelsea? A lot of people jumped on the Tomori bandwagon. I think they got a little bit lucky because Rudiger got injured for longer. I think if it had changed, you've got Rudiger centre backs, Rudiger, Christensen, Zuma, Tomori. Now it looks like Tomori's ahead of Zuma, but I just feel that you're fine for now. In a way, you guys got lucky because Christensen and Rudiger are injured. But I feel like if he came back, I don't know if Tomori would start. Maybe Lampard will keep faith in him, but I think that was a slice of luck for people who took that early risk on Tomori. Best 4.5 to 5.5 million midfielder. So let's cap this. 5.5 El Ghazi, I suggested him last week. Jorginho, Chelsea's got good fixtures. If you've already got the likes of Mount, Why not also go for that? It's tricky. It's a tricky category, to be honest. 4.5 to 5.5 million best midfielder. If you're playing them every week, then I'd suggest just changing that money elsewhere and playing like. So if that's 5-man midfield, Pulikesh, I'd go for a 4-man defense for better value. So a 5.5 million defender, in my opinion, is better than a 5.5 million midfielder. Or 4.5 million striker, get Connolly. Kunal, don't come in here and tell us Sterling's getting benched. We don't need this. We don't need it. Rico Sionchu. I'm going Sionchu. You can see. You can't see because I'm on the transfer page. Rico's my second sub. The massively improved against Spurs last week. And I feel that Bournemouth will concede. So do I want to rely on Rico's attacking returns? Not particularly. So I'm going Sionchu. Lampard does like his youngsters, but is he going to run them into the ground as well? Tomori, Mount, Abraham, they've got to get a rest at some point. And if they're playing a lot of Champions League football as well, is he the kind of guy that runs them into the ground? Or maybe because he used to be a player, he actually thinks, well, I could have played all that football. These guys could play all that football. He said he's his first or second choice centre back. Then there you go. Get on that Tomori train. You think Norwich will show up for the Man U game? Buenadia, Pukki. People are saying that Cantwell, with Onel Hernandez coming back, it's a little bit too soon for him so far. But people think Stuyperman is going to come off and Cantwell's going to play in that number 10 role. That's why Cantwell was on the pitch for a little bit in a 3-5-2 formation for me. So if Cantwell's playing in that number 10 role, like Mount-esque, I think that's a pretty good shout. If Sterling starts and doesn't play full 90 minutes, I'm not that worried, if I'm perfectly honest. If it's getting to 70-80 minutes, he must have done something. And if he gets taken off before that, then he's had a terrible game. Double for Deulofeu. Yeah, I think that that Watford are coming out of that bad patch now. I'm not saying invest or go for Watford players, but I think he's a pretty decent player. So look at the Watford fixtures though. That's something that I'm not too sure, because we've all avoided for Watford for a long time now, with good reason. Bournemouth, Chelsea, Norwich, Burnley, Southampton. That's a decent 3 gamers there. I feel a bit harsh Burnley being 2 on the FDR rating. I think there should be 3, because Burnley don't really get like battered. Like every single time, if you're a Premier League fan and your team's playing Burnley, you don't rub your hands and go, oh, here we go, 5-0 or 3-0. It's probably going to be 2-0 or 1-0 or something like that, right? So I'm surprised it's always a 2 on the rating there. But yeah, I wouldn't be going for. I'm going for Watford. Let me just have a look though, Deulofeu. Is he 6.1 now? Yeah, 6.1. But look, he's got 1 assist all season. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be jumping on that anytime soon. Especially for that price when you can get someone like Morpay in or Danny Ings. This is your 12th season. There you go. This is my 10th season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is my 10th, yeah. So last year I went far too. This one was when I started to do more content. But the content I was doing last season, I was just like playing whatever I wanted. It got to about game week 20, and I just thought, right, I'm just gonna. I did a game week, right? I'd already used my wild card. I did a game week when I took a 20-point hit, and I just did a wild card without even thinking about it. I don't even know what this is. 1, 2, 3. Oh, top million, 500k, 230k, 600k. My aim is going to be inside the top 100k. I need to start getting good. I've not been doing FPL seriously, and this is the first year I've kind of done it seriously. And right now, it's the worst rank I've ever been, at 2 million. But we talked about it earlier, and we're almost in what was I? Something like 35 points behind 80k in top 100k. So I'm not worried. It's a decent team. I think I'm just feel a bit sad about what's going on here, but we'll see. So yeah, this is my 10th year playing, but my first season where I've properly... I did content last year, YouTube stuff last year, but this is the season where I've been like, right, let's look at some stats. Let's really sort of focus on it. Let's join some chats. Let's join some members areas and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. Alright guys, I'm going to leave the stream there, just shy of an hour and 15 minutes. Pretty much went through all the things that I was going to talk about. Which formation is best? Last question here, 4-3-3 or 3-5-2. Personally, 3-5-2 I think is the best formation. I know I'm not playing it this week, but that's because I'm not quite there yet with my team. Hopefully you found this interesting, guys. You can leave a like and subscribe. That'd be great as well. Videos out usually Tuesday or Wednesday, which looks back at the previous week and looks forward at the next game week. So that's still on the channel if you want to check that out as well. And that'd be great. 15k highest finish. That's pretty nice. Top 100k always sounds good. If someone, I'm the top 86,000 and whatever in the world, then that sounds pretty cool. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, my throat's still playing up. You see, that's why it's starting to go now. So thanks very lot. Thanks a lot for coming in. Thanks, Chris. No problems. This is the space I have to talk to you guys about football and FPL. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let's get some green arrows. I'm sick of seeing the colour red. I need to see some greens. So good luck to everyone. Hope you have a good game week. And let's get those green arrows. See ya. Have a good one.